Hey guys, it's me, CJ, and today I'm going to be talking about and reviewing and kind of just like trying to find some meaning to what we can learn from Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2. And I'm going to be starting this new series um, as I'm reading along with the actual Bible itself, like as I'm actually reading it. So let's just start. So I gotta say, this is one interesting beginning because it just shows right here how orderly, how perfect, and just how beautiful God's creation and initial plan was for us. Just beautiful. It just shows that I just find it amazing because it's just so perfect, so beautiful, and so orderly that it seems like, how can this possibly mess up? This is perfect. This is great. It's beautiful, it's orderly, and it's perfect. Like, it's interesting because we see in Genesis chapter 1, the first story of creation, how this like like if we zoom out and stuff, what the whole universe looked like when God was making it. And then we go to like Genesis chapter 2 with the second story of creation, and we see like we zoom in into like the creation of like man and like what it's like with that. But right now I'm just going to talk about chapter 1. So the interesting part about chapter 1, man, there's a lot to say about this. I can't even think about what to start saying. Like, for example, the order in which God actually starts creating things. He doesn't create living beings first, because obviously they need the things to survive. But the thing that's beautiful about it is that it all comes down to the first thing God created, which was light. And it's interesting because Jesus often refers to himself as, I am the light. We always think of Jesus as the light at the end of the dark tunnel, with the dark tunnel representing, like, darkness and life sometimes. But it's funny because here, that's the first thing that God creates, light. I find it pretty interesting. And another thing, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, it says, God created man in his image. In a divine image, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Which is interesting because, like, I know I keep saying which is interesting, but it is. Something about the Bible is just so interesting. It's everything about the Bible is interesting. It's often kind of scary. I won't lie to you. It's fun and it's sad, but it's also, to a very high extent, very interesting. And just seeing everything in this Bible, I am enjoying the series so far, and I'm enjoying just you guys tagging along for the journey. It makes me feel like it gives me purpose, and it makes me feel good that people are, in the mood to listen and stuff. So anyways, I'm getting off track, sorry. Back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. Basically, like, it's showing what I'm saying here. One of the main points I'm trying to get at, that God made this world, and not just the world, but if we look at just man, God made man to be perfect, to live in harmony with him, and just to not have to suffer anything. And it's really sad because we know what ends up happening. That's not how the plan goes, and that's not what ends up happening because of the evil serpent, that the Adam and Eve disobeyed God, and they turned their backs on him and stuff, thinking that they were making a wiser decision. And ultimately, they're not curses. God didn't curse us. He cursed the snake. He cursed the serpent, obviously, but he didn't curse man. It's more like just consequences of our actions. God never curses us for the bad things we do. It's more it's more of just giving us consequences of what we do. At least that's what I think. And but his initial plan for us is just beautiful, because we just see how he loved us. He didn't need us, but he still loved us enough to create us just to be happy. Like, the thing about other stories and stuff, like, if you've listened to Father Mike Schmitz talk about in his podcast, Bible in a Year podcast, you'll understand where I'm getting with this. The points that he made, too. That's kind of what I'm kind of going with, too. That God created out of nothing this whole universe. And it's beautiful because he wasn't lonely. He wasn't in need of humans to do work for him. No. He just wanted to create us so that way we could be happy with him. Because that's how much he loved us. That he created us to be happy. It's really beautiful, isn't it? Yes. Now, going to Genesis chapter 2, I was talking about Genesis chapter 1. In Genesis chapter 2, we get to see what man was like when he was created. We get to see how he was created from the clay of the ground, or the dirt of the ground, and God breathed into him the breath of life. And it's interesting because it shows here that God is the way to life. God made us, and in order for us to live, both like literally, and I guess just in a way emotionally, and in a way like not literally, to live life, it's through God. God will give us that breath of life in many ways. All we gotta do is just leave it into his hands. And at first, we see that that's what man did. Man obeyed God, and he even gave man a job. What was that job? To give names to every single animal. God gave him a place, which was like the Garden of Eden, and that was where man was supposed to be happy. And it's not because like man has to be happy. It was like because man can be happy. That's where he can be happy. It wasn't like God saying like, I don't want to hear you complain. No. It's more like I know that this will make you feel better. Or not even feel better, because he didn't feel bad in the first place. It's just, I know this will make you feel great. Now, if there's something else you guys would like to point out in this, be sure to leave it in the comments. But what I'm trying to also get at is, we see woman being created, and I know this has been stated before, but woman wasn't created to be man's servant, nor was woman created to be, man's leader. They were made to be partners. They were made to be equal, and they're equal in God's eyes. So why should they not be equal in our eyes? So that's why, like, Eve, even though Eve was made to be a friend for friend for Adam, it wasn't because Adam needed a servant. It wasn't because Adam needed that. No, it was because Adam was lonely, and Eve would be there to accompany him. Why? Because people in general are worth more than that. Worth more than being servants. They're made to be your companion, your friend, if you're married, your spouse, or if you have a family, they're meant to be your closest buddy, basically. That's why Adam says, "This one at last is bones of my bones, flesh of my flesh," because she's perfect for him. She's made from him, and it's not like she's an entirely new creature, because God took the rib from Adam to make Eve, and that's beautiful, because it's not like God created a new creature that was like a different material than Adam. It was like they were made from the same from the same material, from the same thing. And that's beautiful because it shows that man and woman are not different from each other. They're not alienated from each other. Then they wouldn't might as well be aliens, because they're not. They're meant to live in harmony with each other. And that's beautiful about this. And just seeing, like, just knowing the fact that Adam gave names to the animals also is because that just shows that they were supposed to be, companions for us. It's not like any animal is like evil per se, because they're all just meant to be companions for us. And so that's gonna wrap up this conversation for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll talk about Genesis chapter 3 and Genesis chapter 4 in the next episode or next video. So until then, see you guys and have a good Christmas.